Summer 2026 has seen some of the hottest temperature on record in recent times. So it's perhaps not too hard to believe that here in Todmorden you can walk through a rainforest. Hey everybody, Matt back with you. Hope you're okay and welcome to the dark side of the moor. Well, as I just mentioned, this summer has seen some of the hottest temperatures ever recorded in the UK, or at least in recent times. I hope you've enjoyed the summer so far. I'm a big fan of the hot weather. I love being out in it. It's obviously much easier to film. Plus I think we often wait about 11 months of the year to get some sunshine. Back in the past, this would have been a very, very hot place because, believe it or not, where I am here in Todmorden was once near the equator, about 310 million years ago, give or take the odd century. And part of it is just called Gorpley Clough. It's a steep-sided ravine with water running through it, and waterfalls. Officially, it's known as a rainforest. Now obviously I'm not talking about things like the Amazon rainforest. There aren't monkeys swinging off trees, or at least I don't think there is, and so it's a little bit different. It's called a temperate rainforest. It's also known as a Atlantic or Celtic rainforest. So, you know, we're not in the Amazon here, but it's interesting because some of the flora and fauna that grows there has been growing there for a very long time, and it is only found in rainforests. Now, the other reason it's called a rainforest is because of how it is. It's, as I said, a steep-sided ravine, a valley. It's often quite humid. It is always wet. The ground never really dries like it does here, and you'll see that when we head in there. So yeah, it's interesting that it's called a rainforest. For this video, I'm going to just show you what it looks like. We're going to walk through. It's a beautiful spot to visit. It's a nature reserve, but it does have its history, and of course naturally, with it being next to water, there were mills there, specifically Gorpley Mill, which is no longer there, but there's one or two bits left. As I've done throughout July, I've interspersed new videos with some clips from the past. So if I suddenly be wearing something different, or if I go into portrait size, those are some videos from the past where we'll look at the history and other things. And surprisingly, 2023, when I came here, I think for the first time to film it, was then, that year, the hottest day of the year. I believe it's been superseded since. Right, let's go show you Todmorden's rainforest. So the entrance to Gorpley Clough is just on the left-hand side in a moment. But it was also where Gorpley Mill stood, and this building still remains from the time, but Gorpley Mill was much, much bigger, and there is a picture with this and the mill behind it. It looked like this. So the entrance to Gorpley Clough is very much where you find all the remnants of the industrial past. You've got that building behind me here that we can see from the roadside, and it's very overgrown today, of course, because it's July, and I think I filmed here in January, something like that. So I headed up there, because there is the old pit for a water wheel. There's old dams up here. So what we'll do whilst I set off into the valley is I'll bring you the history from one of our previous videos. So I will see you after you've seen me. That little building you could just see to the left as we walked up the road is all that remains of the former Gorpley Mill. A very old mill from the past that stopped being used in 1865 and was demolished in the 1890s. Not a lot to see really, unless you're interested in piles of buckets. So let's just head across the grounds a little bit further. There's another small building here. I'm wondering if, with it being next to the water, whether this was used, I don't know, like an engine or something. I wonder if it could have powered a wheel. Up the hill, you should find evidence of the mill that was once here, in the form of the old water wheel pit. So this is the old water wheel section. Obviously the wheel itself has gone. It's really not difficult to picture it being in this gap here. Down the old dam is to the left, the mill down by the river. On this picture you can see on the right hand side the building that we've just had a quick look inside, and up on the top of the hill is the water wheel casement. So at the end of the path you come across this chimney which seems to be in the middle of nowhere, but actually it's just above where the water wheel casement was, and I think there is a pipe underneath the path that's here that comes out and towards where that is. You can see this is inside where, well, you can't see, there is a pipe in there, and it goes all the way along the path here, and at the other end, when you reach the other end, there is another of the chimneys. So I was telling somebody earlier, a friend of mine, that I was coming here to film about the rainforest, and they said, "Oh, are you going to have to do your best David Bellamy impersonation?" No, is the answer to that. I was thinking I was quite lucky, really. I was brought up at a time where, you know, you had these mad people on TV like David Bellamy and Magnus Pike, who brought you the science, and then Johnny Ball with the maths, and we learnt quite a lot from them. Do you remember any of these people? Am I in your era here? Yeah, they were great, weren't they? No, mad eccentric scientist, I'm afraid I am not. Mad and eccentric I may well be, though. Science has never been a particularly strong subject for me. So what I'm not going to be able to do is go, these are the specific things that you can find in a rainforest that you can find here in Gorpley. Instead, I'll bring you some nice pictures of what it looks like. Well, join me on our walk through. I'll show you the waterfalls. I can't speak today for some reason. And then we'll reach the top. There is Gorpley Reservoir, which, as it's summer holidays and it's a hot afternoon, I imagine will be full of teenagers. You can certainly see what I mean when I said that we're in a very, very steep-sided valley. This is one of the steepest sections. You can just about make out the top. It's right up there and then there's trees beyond. So yeah, that's why after heavy rain the sunlight doesn't get in here to dry it up. It's protected in a way. Plus the water comes through. I mean, I don't mean that section, I mean the paths are usually quite wet. Here they're not. So I'm thinking I'm giving you the right information. I guarantee further on it will be a little bit damp. So we're already at our first waterfall. Absolutely stunning. Look at that. And again, down in the valley, rocks above us, and when we entered it did say danger of falling rocks. Hopefully not today. One thing that is noticeable is now the ground is wet, and this is kind of how it stays all the way through the valley. A bit further again we reach our next waterfall. Get the stunning waterfalls down the valley. There are more to see, but I think this is the biggest one. Sadly the sun isn't on this one, so I'm not going to have a paddle today. However, I did have a paddle when it was the hottest day in 2023. Here it is. See you soon. Okay, I'll shut up talking for a little while. I'll show you the valley in the next few minutes, not me. And yeah, one thing also to point out is when you visit in summer, because it is wet as well, insects. There are a lot of insects floating about because it's damp. Keep that in mind. You will probably see them on this video. It's also a reason I didn't want to go into water. I would be eating lots of them. Okay, let's go. So it's not the longest walk, Gorpley Clough, probably from the car park to the reservoir. You can do it in about 15 or 20 minutes if you really go for it. Don't stop to look at anything. However, although you can go one way to the reservoir, you can take another route back right up on top of the hillside that I showed you earlier, and we will head back that way because there's some mine entrances up there, which are quite interesting. But again, I don't think you'll see them today because of all the greenery, so we may use the old video as well. However, a bit more history. This side is of course Gorpley Clough Reservoir, which is newer than the mills, of course. In fact, I think these arrived pretty much as the mills were going to come down. But yeah, it's a wonderful location at the top here. It may be that I can't quite take the path on to show you the overflow, which is also quite spectacular, because it looks very nettly and very prickly, and I don't want that getting down there. What the hell, let's try it. Okay, this is the bottom of the reservoir overflow, and you might just be able to make out there like the steps coming down. Very soon we'll be escaping up there. It's a very interesting noise. There we go. So a reservoir wall, and then the steps for the overflow, which I think now doesn't come down that way. I think there are pipes underneath which bring it out here, which is what we saw earlier. I don't know if it'll appear on the camera. It sounds like an aeroplane going over, but it's constantly there, so it must be to do with the water coming through. It's really strange, so that it's permanently there. Wow. Well, for now, I'll head up the stairs, leave Gorpley Clough for now, and show you the reservoir. Well, these steps are fun in this weather. Oh, right, but we're at the top, and we come out at Gorpley Reservoir, or what's left of it today. So the water treatment works here at Gorpley Reservoir. Not sure quite what goes on here anymore. It's certainly different to what it used to be. However, there are some pictures of it from the past. As I said, I think it's early 1900s, oh, 1905. So yeah, I think did I mention earlier the mill was pulled down in 1904, so maybe they brought the stone from the mill up here, who knows. But yeah, I'll show you some pictures, or once again, let's go back into an old video where I may have more information. There are two of the original gate posts with the dates showing that the first part of the reservoir was cut out in 1900 and it opened in 1905. This is what the waterworks looked like back then, and if you look at the left hand side of the picture you can just make out those original gate posts. Right, so Gorpley Reservoir is above us here on the Gress embankment, but to get to it you've got to get right to the corner, so I will see you there. So I'm just going off topic slightly. I've been thinking about my dad this week because it would have been his 82nd birthday. Sadly, he passed away about 7 years ago. Occasionally, when it's weeks like this, I have memories of the past. And believe it or not, pylons are a strong memory for me for two reasons. Firstly, when I was very little, when we used to go off on holiday, these things, because I was into things like Doctor Who and Star Wars, etc., these were very sci-fi looking things, and there were a myriad of fake, obviously pretend weapons on the back of Dad's seat in the car, and I would get out and shoot these things. These were called six eyes. These were invaders, and the ones that don't have anything sticking out, that are just pylons if you like, were stompers. And yeah, each one had, it was almost like playing Space Invaders. There were different points. Stompers were more rare, so you got more points if you shot a stomper. I'd have been very impressed if they'd fallen over after I'd shot them, of course. But that used to get me through long motorway journeys. And the other thing, when I was finishing school, my dad came home once and said, "Oh, I've got you a job." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Oh, I could get you a job painting pylons." And I can't imagine I would have ever been in a job where I'm swinging off the edge of a pylon painting it. Back then anyway, I would probably do it today, actually. I think it was easier to imagine after all the things I've brought you on this channel, me swinging off a pylon. But yeah, I didn't accept the job, much to his chagrin. Oh well, good times. Okay, that was Gorpley Reservoir with some rather crazy boys there. Yeah, please keep safe if you come and do things like that. So yeah, let's head back into Gorpley Clough. We're going to go on the top path, which goes past some mine adits. Now they're not accessible and they may well be covered up today by the foliage, but we'll see what we can see. And once we reach the other side, this video concludes. So, as predicted, the mine entrances are kind of lost at the moment, but you can see it's just there, one of them anyway. They are sealed up, you can't get in them at all, but there's a few of these on this path. But I think let's have a look at an old video so you can have a better look at what's here. There's an old mine adit. Looks like it's adit, doesn't it? Oh, that's terrible. See if we can see anything inside. without getting the phone wet, I'm afraid. Well. There's another one. You can see certainly from the colour it's coming out of a mine. And another. They're all on here. Tell by the colour of the ground. There's another one here. Okay folks, there we go. That is our hike through Gorpley Clough, or if you like, Todmorden's temperate rainforest. So I hope you've enjoyed this wander in the summer sunshine, and we will see you very soon for the next video. Don't forget, please like, share, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like this one, we have over 1,000 videos very similar to this right there, ready for you to find. We will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.